Hi, everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I'm your host, Sherry Hudson-Passy from Carolina Girl Genealogy. We've got a wonderful panel and a very special guest. We're doing a special episode. We're doing a special relative race episode with Eric tonight. So before we welcome Eric, I want to welcome these panelists. We've got Jenny Hawran from Herding Cats Genealogy. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Happy New Year. Good to be here.
Good to be here too. Melissa is just popping in. We've got Shelley Murphy, our family tree girl, is here. Hello,
Good
Shelley.
evening. Happy to be here as well.
And Mary Kircher
2025.
Roddy, 2025. Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy and the Applied Genealogy Institute is here. And you know what? They've got new courses coming up. So we'll put that link up.
Registration is this week.
Registration
So it starts on Wednesday. So
right. And I think, Melissa, don't you have a legacy webinar coming up? Family tree webinar?
Yes, tomorrow, actually, at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Central. It's a MyHeritage, one click away for your family stories, finding information. So, and I've also got SLIG coming up
Yes.
the week of the 27th
Yes, you do.
on organizing and preserving your family records.
Exactly. Shelley, you got anything coming up?
Oh yeah.
Well, if you want to just send the links, we'll put it in there.
The
Jenny?
whole month of February, every Saturday for the museum in
There you go.
Charleston.
Okay,
And
send those links.
Kentucky, I've got a thing with Kentucky coming up soon, and
Cool.
yeah, plenty to do.
And you got anything?
Nothing to speak of right now.
Okay. Let us know when you do. I'm doing a My Heritage Live on Thursday. And so I don't have the link, so I can't share it. So but
I think mine is April for legacy.
It's a My Heritage Live on Facebook. So anyway, but yeah, we got things coming up. But guys, relative race fans, you thought we were right? You thought we were done until next season, but no. We have a special guest, and that is Eric Team Blue, season 14 winner of season 14, broke the curse. Or you and Abe broke the curse. But as we all remember, Eric found out that his biological father was from Bermuda. And we remember that emotional scene where his sister came and told him all about his dad and gave him his dad's hat and had all these pictures. Well, of course, guess who went back and spent how many days in Bermuda?
Well, it was supposed to be 12 nights. But it turned out to, and 12 nights and 12 days.
Yeah.
It turned out to be 12 nights and 11 days due to airline, but we won't go into that.
Due to some delays. So we thought, oh my goodness, you were talking on Facebook and posting some pictures, and I thought we need to have Eric come on for all the fans so that you can tell them all about this trip. I mean, it was just everything you posted was just wonderful and emotional. Laura unfortunately can't be with us tonight. Speaking of airline delays, hers flight was delayed, and so she's not home yet. And so she wanted us to ask you a question, and that question was, how is your sense of self changed now that you've found out about that was
I feel finally complete for the most part. Obviously with the nightmare getting there, I was very agitated that first evening. But I woke up the next morning. A friend of my sister's has a little Airbnb right around the corner, and there was this beautiful little courtyard where I would do my little live videos from most mornings. And that first day, there's a photo that my adoptive father said it's the happiest he's ever seen me.
Oh,
I felt calmness. Felt a calmness. The only day I did not get to meet a new relative was the first day because we didn't get there till 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
So,
but somebody met you at the airport.
My sister met me at the airport with one of my two nieces. Also ran into a friend of my father's at the airport, who has like a taxi business that he runs. So, it was fantastic.
Go ahead, Mary.
I mean, did you know ahead of time that he was going to be there, or how did you know?
No, he was just happened to be there. He did a double take, And I said, kind of gave
You
my
thought you
sister
were your
a look, and
dad.
she goes, "Oh, that's a friend of your father." So, I mean, you can literally throw a stone in any direction and you will hit somebody that I am related to or knew my father well.
That's amazing.
Bermuda is a small place, but still, that's amazing. That's amazing because it's been so many years. Yeah. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm curious about is there anybody in your family that is the genealogist down there? Like, how long
Well,
has your
so
family been there?
okay, so they've been there for a long time. I mean, there's two homesteads that I got to visit,
Oh.
family homesteads that have been there for well over, so since the 1800s. Um, so they've been there for quite a bit. There's so some of the stuff, like I'm a big history buff. There's some of the stuff that I didn't know about Bermuda that, the segregation and stuff in Bermuda, because it was known at certain times as a safe haven for slaves. People that got caught up in storms and got to the island, if they found they had slaves, they made them, free the slaves, which is how you got most of the black population on Bermuda. There was a revolt in the 1940s, late 40s, early 50s. They revolted by not going to the movie theater.
Ah.
The building is no longer there, but there's a plaque kind of commemorating it. And I have family members that are actually on there.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So
interesting.
yeah, it was very. I didn't know how I was going to feel. Obviously, you're coming in, you're experiencing new place, new people. Abe has been teasing me that I'm not going to want to come back, and I'm like,
Yeah. I remember you telling you
I'm a mountain guy. I like mountains, woods. That's my relaxation. But
there's no mountains in Bermuda.
No, but it's not flat. It's not Iowa or Kansas.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just, walking down to Front Street, which is the main drag of Hamilton, that runs along the bay. To get there, it's a 7-minute walk, downtown, and you may see one person, you may see five. But if you see five, at least four of them will say good morning. They'll say good afternoon. Children still say please and thank you.
Oh, wow.
Something that, I find myself praising the parents because so few kids actually do that. So when the kids actually do that, but there are amazing people there. They're super friendly.
Wow. All right. What are your questions, everybody? I know you've got lots.
I'd like to know, right after the race, you guys won. What did y'all do? I mean, you just met all the family. How did you kind of calm down after all of that? Plus, you'd been on what, 10 weeks?
He made plans to Bermuda. That's what he did.
You went right to Bermuda? No, I'm just asking.
So when we got done for Abe, Abe had to go back to being super dad, taking care of my nephew and work and stuff like that. When I got back, I I did some, some of my antique sales and stuff that I do. I got to see Andy quite a bit. My cousin Andy, who I met in episode 4. He doesn't live too far away. I actually had a great weekend. I got to see both Andy and Gordon this weekend, meet some more new cousins.
Great.
And then I was traveling a lot last year, doing sales in different spots of the country. So, I was in North Carolina, I was in Georgia, where I got to meet my 4 aunts, my mom's sisters, and some more cousins there. And then, I went to Pittsburgh to see Morgan, my sister, when she was in with, her daughter is all of her daughters, they all do roller derby and at quite a high level over there.
Right.
So
So you've been traveling.
I've been doing a lot of traveling. I wanted to go in July of last year to Bermuda because there's the Cup match. That's like
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
time to go to Bermuda. But you know, I was going through a breakup and a
Oh.
lot of things that were going on, and it it wasn't the right time. So going now, or you know, going not now, but in December at a slower time,
Oh,
it's
sure.
good because I got to spend a lot of time with family.
Yeah.
You know, I got to meet the matriarch, who everybody calls Grandma Bao. She's mid to late 80s. She's blind, but she has a spirit. And, you know, both my grandparents have passed away, you know, on both sides a long time ago with my adoptive family. So getting that grandma back was such an amazing, you know, one of my cousins, one of her daughters, my cousin, she's not actually my grandma, but she's the matriarch. So everybody calls the matriarch grandma. It's just kind of how, you know, all of my cousins, their kids all call me Uncle Eric.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how they are.
And that's what we warn people about doing genealogy research is be careful because people call each other grandma and uncle and they're not really.
They're not related.
Right. There's So it's
Did you meet? Yeah, I would say, did you meet was it an uncle of your father? So your uncle, your
I met
father's
my dad's brother.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. I know it was very poignant for, you know.
Yeah. They warned him. His health had been fairly bad for a while. And my cousin Cole had really tried to prepare him that I look like his brother, you know. And I got there, and as soon as I came in, he waved me over to the bed. He grabbed my hand and he literally just stared at me for 20, like the whole time I was there. He would not let my hand go.
Wow.
He just stared at me, but it got awkward after like 6-7 minutes because it was just silent. He was just staring at me. So I started just telling him my life, you know, my adoptive parents and, you know, up into the race. And, you know, once he had gotten to the point, it's not like you could just sit and chat with him. It took him a while to get his sentences out. But I found out like he did know about my birth mom. He knew about me. He had seen a photo of me as a baby. So, because my birth mom, up until I was 3, my adoptive mom would give photos of me to the nun in charge of the case. She would forward them on to my birth mom, and my birth mom would make copies and send them to my dad.
Gotcha.
So
they were keeping up with you.
Yeah, they were keeping up with you. Yeah.
So getting that time to, you know, get to know somebody like that was that close, you know, it's my dad's older brother. So somebody that's that close, that was that close to him. I was going back to see him on the Sunday. He actually passed away that overnight. He was going back to see him a second time. I got to spend over an hour and a half with him. And,
what a blessing.
You know, one of my cousins said that, you know, he waited, he wanted to see you. He wanted to meet you, and he was content after that. So it was, obviously it was some sadness to it, but I felt so blessed to have actually gotten that time to meet him and have that conversation with him.
Exactly.
Has your birth mom been back to Bermuda at all to visit?
She was back in 91. When I was actually touring with Up With People, she was in Bermuda with my father. So I do have a picture of them from that time. But I'm trying to see if we can arrange to get her down there.
I was just going to ask. That would be interesting to go with her and have her tell you stories about your father, your birth father, and her and their adventures in Bermuda and these different places, and hear those stories in those places. That would be amazing.
Because we did see the picture
Yeah.
of the two of them.
Michelle. Mm-hmm.
Was that the
So-
1991?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that was the last one. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it was a very special place for her,
Oh, exactly.
you know, for a lot of reasons. So
Yeah.
it would be
Oh,
great
yeah.
if you could, it'd be great if you could
Yeah.
go back together with her.
It was, because like I told her that, she's like, before I was leaving, I let her know when I got to the airport hotel before I flew out. And she was, don't worry about me, don't bother me. I'm like, you're part of the reasons I'm going to Bermuda.
Yes.
So I was like, I will be calling you when I'm on my trip.
Yeah. And did she tell you to go to any particular places? Did she
It
suggest?
was hard for her to remember,
Okay.
but there was a specific beach which it's different now because it's down from the hotel where my father worked.
Yeah.
It's no longer there.
Yeah.
And right now, the beaches are like in some areas feet lower than they are in the spring, summer.
Okay.
So they get washed away in the fall
Yeah.
storms. All the pink sand is gone, but then it comes back again in the springtime.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you'll be
a lot of those
arriving just in
beaches,
time to
a lot of
see.
those beaches have turned very touristy too, so they're not like they used to be,
No, right. They don't, there's not like bars popping up on the beach like there used to be and stuff like that. So it's definitely, like during the show, like some of the production team were like, you got to open up Rip Juniors on the beach. And I was like, well, we'll see when I get down there. And it's not really, but it was weird at first, but it just to get used to it. But it turned out to be, I kind of took it more of like a blessing.
Yeah.
Like anybody over 55, 60, like people stopped, did double takes. The first day for my first full day there, I took a walk along through a park that's right on the harbor. And this guy comes up, he's like, "Where'd you get that hat?"
Oh.
And I was wearing not this one, the green one that I got on the show. And I said it was my dad's hat. And he goes, "Your dad?" And I said, "Yeah, it was Rip's hat. Rip's my dad." And he just looked at me. He just started crying. He gave me a hug. So like relatives, I got to celebrate my sister's birthday, which was very nice down there. And so one of the parties, one of the evenings was just her mom's side of the family and a couple of friends. And they treated me, her mom's side of the family treated me just like I was their long lost.
Yeah.
So it was such a great experience to not just be in Bermuda and learn a little bit, but get to spend time with and like see my sister every day.
Sure.
I wish I could do that with each one of my family members, but it's tough because they're spread so far apart.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they say you always want to go back and walk where they walked. And I mean, you had that experience,
Two moments that really got me was one, the beach where my father used to reign. I was on a rock and I jumped and I left two footprints, in the sand. I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
I did almost, it was about that far from a Portuguese man of war, a baby one. But like seeing those footprints on the beach that my father walked, that kind of hit me hard. And then the second Friday that I was there, we went to it's a workman's club, but it's like a cricket / soccer club that they drink, they have billiards and stuff like that. So it was a spot that my father liked to hang out. So a couple of my cousins took me down there because one, it's a place my father hung out, so I know he'd meet friends of him, of his. But my cousin, a little bit before we left, I mean, I got to meet a lot of people that knew my dad, and hear some stories. Some I wanted to hear, some I didn't want to hear. But my cousin took me into one of the showcases, and as soon as I can get a copy, hopefully soon, from this myself, I will send it to you. But there is a photo of my dad in that showcase where I've seen like different looks where we see the same and different, but like that photo just took my breath away.
You
like,
really
I
saw
watched
it.
that for 15 minutes because I was just totally overwhelmed. Because that's, now I see.
You see what
that's
people
when I really saw how what people were looking at me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. There was a lot of partying going on and a lot of food. So were you
Oh my God, the food was
treated to like family favorites and things like that?
well, I mean, it was holidays. So the first Friday I was there, it was my sister was she's like the night manager of a hotel, but she's also an office manager of a construction company, and then she has her own little cleaning company. So she's a busy lady. But it was so the construction company, it was their Christmas party, and her boss invited me to come along. So yeah, that was the one night where I got a bit tipsy. But I was doing much better than her boss. Her boss, like that was a Friday. Her boss didn't start feeling better till the Tuesday after. So
okay.
I stay away from those shots. But there was a lot of food. Just holidays, get-togethers. People would invite me over to their house. So there was a family, like my dad's side of the family, party at my cousin Cole's house. And there was, I mean, I must have met 25, 30 new relatives just that night.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would think that your brain must have been tired at night. Were you just tired,
at times,
exhausted?
it was so like some of the fans on Facebook have been like, Eric, are you okay? You've been kind of quiet. And it's just been, it was so overwhelming at times. I have people showing up and saying that they're my siblings, and we're checking into that. It was a lot, and seeing, everywhere you go, people looking at you like they've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
Or when my cousin Cole took me to the homestead where my dad was raised and lived most of his life, but didn't tell me. So he goes, "Oh, I'm doing a favor. I got to go feed the horse." We get out of the car. I took like 6 or 7 steps, and I'm like, man, I was like, I'm feeling my dad something crazy here. He's like, wow. He goes, I didn't want to make you overthink it. He goes, this is where you grew up. This is the homestead. So I got to see, there's multiple buildings. It's actually, they believe it's the largest privately held property on the island.
Oh, wow.
Got several buildings on it. It's got a business.
That's amazing.
It's got a little coconut orchard. There's a little pineapple orchard. So, in the history of the place, so during the segregation, somebody built this huge, their stage is still there. They built this huge outdoor dance floor, concrete dance floor. And in the 40s and 50s, they would have that was the place to go to on a Friday night or Saturday night. They'd have people playing bands playing, people would be dancing. And so it was, for me, the history geek part of me, I absolutely loved it. It was so, it's filling some of those needs other than just finding family, just those historical needs that I love.
I have a question.
When was your dad born, Eric?
So he died in 2012. He was 80. I think it was 83.
All right, somebody do the math real quick.
Early 1930s, maybe.
Yeah,
My mom's
1930s.
94 and she was 1930.
So wait, my mom is 70s, and he would have been in his early 90s. He would have been in his early 90s.
Okay. So probably in the 30s.
I should know that off the top of my head. Hold on.
It's okay.
I know how to find that.
And I have a question once you find that too.
And that's okay. We're not trying. That's a lot to remember. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lot of process and a lot to remember.
And then, like, from all the concussions I've had as a kid, you know, and as a younger adult playing sports, the names, the amount of people that I met, I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Did anybody make any kind of chart for you to help you?
So Del Monte, who I met episode 8, we are working
good
together on that.
Good. That will help you. Do you remember who you met and who you
with pictures and
yeah. Next time you go, I would be videoing.
So I'm going in July.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, good.
So there's that. It was before that.
We put him under pressure is what we've done. We're sorry. Shelley, you can go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to remember the date, but okay. So
it's all good.
I don't remember where
it's all good. Don't worry about it.
So there's like a plaque that my sister wants to send to me. That was made by this guy that would come 3-4 times a year to Bermuda to go fishing and hang out with my dad. And so he had this made for him, this monument. He's a guy from up in the Boston area. And his uncle wanted me to have it. So he gave that to me, the day I was up there.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, my question was a typical question. Is there anything that you haven't received or seen or made contact with? Someone or something or someplace?
Well, there's a lot more relatives in there's a lot more relatives in Bermuda that I have not met yet.
Just so amazing.
They'll come in for cup match. I thought Abe had I thought Abe, because I was like, Abe's got like 70 something cousins. I'm like, I'm on his dad's side. I was like,
You've got an island.
Yeah, you've got an island related too.
But I'm sure Abe has a few more that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I need to get out to Kansas to see my mom. I did see her a little bit less than, it was like a year ago, this coming February, I saw her. So I
cried when y'all met.
I want to get out to see my sister Morgan.
Yeah.
And meet the rest of my nieces there too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a lot more I need to see on the island. So like I'm looking to figure out where I'm going to be settling.
That island.
So there's a couple of places that I have in mind, and I'm looking at, jobs in those areas. And one of them I'm looking at is Bermuda.
Yeah.
Which
but there's no mountains there.
Well, but what a struggle to live in Bermuda.
Yeah. Well, it's expensive. It's
I know
really
it's expensive, and he needs a bike.
Because you need to. Well, yeah, you need to. The 99% of everything is imported.
Yeah.
And you're only allowed one car per household.
Yep.
That's why you see a lot of mopeds.
Yep.
Right.
It's. I mean, I asked. Unfortunately, they gave me the direct question that I asked. I asked my nieces, like, what supermarket has the best seafood, like on the island.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were like, oh, it's the one right down the hill from your Airbnb. So I was like, okay, so I wanted to cook for Grandma Bao. I wanted to cook dinner. And so I asked her what your favorite protein was. She says, I like fish. So I went down there, and the salmon that they had was farm raised, and I don't do farm raised salmon. It's very bad for you. It's toxic. So they had steelhead trout, which is a sea trout, but it's in the salmon family, and that was wild caught. So I bought that, and I'm grabbing stuff like I was at Giant or ShopRite or normal American supermarket. The only thing that out of the ordinary that I had that they did have was duck fat. I used those for potatoes. But other than that, I bought potatoes, I bought parsley, I bought oregano. It wasn't like super crazy on anything. And I bought asparagus, and I'm like, I check out, and she's like, it's $192 and cents. And I'm like doing dinner for 4 people.
Jeez.
But
Yeah.
they spoiled me on the island too, though. Got to go to a lot of different restaurants and have some amazing meals.
Yeah, that's great. Now tell us about this new hat.
So this was given to me by one of my dad's best friends. So when I was at the beach, he had seen a post that I was going to be at the beach. And so he just showed up, and he brought me this hat. Then he took me back to his brother's house. I got to meet his brother as well. Another guy that hung out with my dad. They're trading stories, and so you're hearing the family side, and then but you're also hearing from his boys, the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are always stories. So do that too.
I got a lot of information. I came with a full heart of love to give, and every day my cup has run over. It was given back to me 20-fold. So even one of the girls that I really kind of like befriended when I got down there was not even a relative, but she was so excited to see me. So the book of photos that my sister gives to me on the show, she's the girl that made it for us. So my sister walked into the store, never met her before. When she goes, she's like, don't worry, this will be perfect, because my sister was a little worried. It was short notice, she wanted it. And so she friended her on Facebook, started asking questions like, how's it going? Have you seen him? How was the show? And so I popped into the store to thank her for making the book. I found out from Sonia. So she didn't know I was coming in. And so I popped in, and it was like right before Christmas. I mean, it was, it's coming up to Christmas, so they were busy. So I got to talk to her for about 15 minutes, take a few photos, and then I ended up one night going out to dinner with her and her husband, which was not with them. It was like the weirdest dinner ever, because I was eating Mexican food served by a Filipino lady in Bermuda. So it's just like one of those weird experiences, but fun. It's so beautiful there, though.
Yeah.
There's nothing trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of Australia. There's no poisonous snakes or spiders on the island.
Yeah.
Wait, there is or there not? Wait.
There's not.
Yeah.
It's like Hawaii, no snakes. Yeah.
There is sharks, but the middle part of the harbor, there's no sharks at all.
Yeah.
And the sharks that are around, the food is so plentiful. There's not a recorded shark attack death in Bermuda, like ever.
I can remember when I was a kid, they would tell us there was a ring that kept them out. Yeah. Very interesting. Go
Did
ahead.
you have any of those moments where you met a relative and you saw some similarities, maybe not physical, but I don't know, you
Oh yeah,
had the
no,
same
there a
hobbies
couple, yeah,
or, you know.
more than a couple, but it was sometimes it screamed at you, and sometimes it was subtle. You
Uh-huh.
know, just yeah, oh yes. One of my youngest cousins, he so my one cousin is his grandma, and her daughter's a nurse. She works, and so her grandma kind of watches him during the day. He's like 3 years old, and so he's a little bit of a grandma's boy, because she babies him, pampers him. So he was trying real hard not to like me. But he's like, he's a little mischievous. He's not like mean or bad mischievous, but you
Yeah.
can tell he's a mischievous kid. And it went from the point where he would run away when I got near him to, we went on a trip to go see a lot of the different historical, stuff of Bermuda. And there was a couple of spots where it wasn't really safe to run around. So Grandma Bob would sit in the car and he would stay. And usually I'd say, she wanted to take some pictures, my cousin. So I would go up on the rocks and stuff, but he'd start crying when I got out of the car. So, yeah. So but I saw a lot of myself in that little man.
Yeah.
Just like a good soul, but just a ball of energy. So,
What I don't know how you left.
It must have been hard to leave. Yeah. Well, how was it?
Yeah,
How did you feel?
Yeah, it was. But I know that I'll be back. Like I said, I'm going in July. And who knows? I may, end up living part of the year there.
Yeah.
I just felt a calmness in myself that I have never felt in myself. So yeah.
Wow. Are you gonna bring Abe down there and show him?
I've been mentioning it. I'd love to get Abe down there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Abe's been going through a little bit. My nephew had some medical problems. He was in the hospital. He had bronchitis, one lung, something going on in the other lung, and E. coli.
Oh
So
no.
mouth at school.
Yeah.
And so, he went to the hospital and everything was okay. Then they brought him up for his checkup that he goes to in Boston. And when they did, they find it was E. coli all in his bloodline. So there's the line that goes directly to his heart.
Right.
And so they had to take that out, put a temporary stent in, and once they got all the infection and stuff out of there, they switched everything over to the other side.
Other side, yeah.
So it's an ongoing battle for Abe.
This is hard.
But I'm so proud of him. He just handled it. He knows that he's got no other choice. So he just
Exactly.
he's a trooper.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard. Well, this just your whole journey was just fascinating to watch, and all your pictures, and you sent me some pictures, so we'll put those on the blog post, and it was just amazing. And so we just had to have you come on because I know the fans want to know, about your journey, and we're glad you took so many pictures and sent the videos and things like that so that we could kind of see what you were doing, see who.
And I do want to get back to maybe not every day, now that I'm back, but a couple of times a week. I didn't realize how many people, like I understood people would want to know what's going on, being in Bermuda and hearing those things. But, I just get a lot of people reaching out, like they miss hearing my story. So I'm doing work with Callie and some of the adoption groups and stuff. And,
yeah, exactly.
It's been, I'm trying to keep
it, run with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Trying to keep it, moving forward. I'm in talks with this Italian shoe company that normally they just hire artists and they put their stuff out there, but somebody liked my story. And so we're talking about maybe putting out a line of shoes. So maybe we get these
Wow.
relative race team oriented color shoes.
That would be
No,
fabulous.
cool.
And make them available for fans to buy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can buy like generic relative race gear, but
Yeah,
it's
like
really
you can get the
hard to.
shirt, you can get the
yeah,
band
the shirts and the with the
and
bands
and the hats. You can get the hats
and the
that's
hats.
about it. But they don't sell them. You have to just be someplace where somebody's giving them out, and that's the
Right.
frustrating thing.
Yeah. It's like my blue relative race hoodie
Yeah.
got destroyed, and I'd love to get another one, but I need to
Yeah, you need to reach out.
contact the
Surely they
office.
can replace that for you.
Guys, can I at least buy one? It's me. It's not for somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. They're missing out on the marketing. They're missing out on the marketing for that. Is there any other moment? And you know what'll happen, Eric, after, tonight you'll be asleep, you'll go, oh, I should have told them about this moment. Is there anything that you still want, you want to share that we haven't asked about, or just something that pops into your mind? I know it was all wonderful.
Just it's I'm trying to like I felt that calmness and it really after the stress of the day before, getting there
Oh, yeah.
versus day one. So, hence my dad saying that picture of me being calm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was 3 or 4 days in where, I'd met some relatives, I'd met some friends of my dad, I had heard some stories, and a lot of those, missing bigger pieces of missing from the puzzle.
Yeah.
I kind of just finally became aware, wow, I know who I am. I know what made me.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's the answer to Laura's question, that she, what is your sense of self now that you've gone back to Bermuda?
yeah, I mean that had truly like just kind of washed over me.
Oh.
I've been having a conversation with one of my cousins, actually the son of the cousin who took me to see that picture. He's in his 20s, very educated, smart guy, and he's a journalist. And my adoptive father and some of my friends have been telling me for years, you should do a book.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And so I asked him, I said, hey, would you want to work with me, on this book? So I have, so books that we're going to be working on with one of my newfound cousins. So
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's what I love about your story is it just gives hope and that because we could see you all through the journey, on the show, we got your backstory, saw you on the show, but
And
then you brought us along, like Cheri said, you brought us along on the after. And these days it's just nice to have something so good happen. It's just kind of gives you hope.
It's not always, and I being, on some of the other adoption things that I'm doing, like I'm hearing some of the stories where
it's not so nice. Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Right.
And, even some of the meetings, meeting up. Sometimes families, they go meet up and then, the show's over and
exactly.
But I've been blessed. Abe with his situation and what's going on in Palestine, he hasn't really been able to
Exactly. Yeah.
get out there yet.
Not the
But
time.
he's very much in contact with his family. And, I'm talking to both sides. I met, just this weekend, I met a bunch of new cousins. Andy just had his grandson born on what was it? So Friday night, Andy's grandson was born, his first grandson. So
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Family's getting bigger.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. I just can't even imagine, going someplace and not only meeting family, but walking down the street and having people recognize you because they knew your father. That to me is so powerful. I mean, it's powerful enough to meet the family, but to have somebody come up to you and say, I knew your dad. What?
And so not only, I mean,
Well,
yes, I heard some crazy stories about my dad, but a lot of the young guys that I'm calling them young guys, they're in their, now they're in their 60s and 70s, but guys that had no fathers, whether their fathers had passed away, their fathers weren't around, or they just didn't know who their fathers were. He was that father for them. Like he gave them inspiration. He taught them things. He looked out for them. He punished them. He brought them up. So hearing those stories, because I have that kind of personality in me. I don't have any children, but I try to help others out, and especially when we did a lot of stuff with my mom through the church with the food charities and Christmas time, getting presents for the kids and stuff. So just you see more of those genes that you get, that and how crazy, how amazingly powerful, and how crazy that they work, because you just sometimes it's just little minute things. So I'll see my sister, like I'll see a look that I'm observant. I'm a very observant person. It's part of my ADD and doing safety. But my sister, she's got that same thing, and sometimes it's real big. So I being adopted and not really fully understanding the power of genes and genealogy, where I'm at now, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So, somebody asked the question. They're not in Bermuda. It's my cousin Del Monte is the family genealogist, but he spends part of his time in Bermuda, part of his time in New York, and then part-time in London, him and his wife.
Nice.
But I'm working with him on doing not just my father's side of the family tree, but my mom's side as well.
Awesome. That's
Where
great.
did they hail out of?
He was born in Bermuda.
Oh, your mom's dad?
No.
On your mother's side?
They're
my mother's side, they're all from New Jersey.
They're all from
New Jersey. Okay.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Family of train conductors. Or people who work for the railroad.
They got great records.
No, they do. They've got great records. Absolutely. Absolutely. But what a fun, and we just knew we needed to have you back after you took that trip.
I'm glad. It's great to talk about, especially after I've had the chance to digest it. The one show that I did with Callie, like that was literally like the day after I got back, and I was still like overwhelmed.
I'm sure. So, yeah.
And I'm still processing stuff.
Of course, it'll take a while.
So,
yeah.
But getting to see, more than anything, getting to, that saying, walk your father's footsteps.
Absolutely.
Like, I truly
not
only did that, but it just like I felt that feeling. It was just like a warm hug. So
I love that. That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
It's a great story.
Well, keep everybody posted when you go back in July. We want to see some more pictures.
I will.
We want to see some more, Facebook lives. Make sure you let us know.
And my cousin
Gordon
my cousin Gordon may be in Bermuda in April.
Oh, the one you met.
He was with Andy, episode 4.
Nice.
So I was just talking to him about it this weekend. He's like, yeah, he goes, I wanted to go to Bermuda. He goes, so you gave me that inspiration to get there and go now. So
yeah. Oh, that's just wonderful. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have a question? All right.
No.
Eric, thank you so much for coming.
It's always my pleasure. Now we all have to sit and suffer and wait for the next season to come out.
Exactly.
That's right.
Do we know when? Did we have any
indication? Usually March or April. They haven't announced.
March or April.
Yeah, I'm thinking March, like mid-March.
Okay. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Good. Sounds good.
I
Sounds
would love
good.
to do that.
Do
Be
what?
better if they just did 3 a year, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
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 But
It'd be interesting
that's
on
so
how
fun.
the rules change and all of that, what
gonna be
they've been
exciting.
doing,
Gonna be
you know, the
exciting.
last
yes, I'm always excited to see, you know, if there's going to be some changes. So, you know, because
Right.
like, you know, we're not on the, you know, we're not on the pulse of that
Right.
information. You know, we're not up in that. That's above our pay grade, so to speak.
Well,
But,
we'll definitely ask you to come back and help us, you know, figure out what the heck is going on.
yes.
The season starts. So, and get your opinion, Abe's opinion, and we'll be sending you an invite to do that because it's always fun to have you come back.
Oh,
So,
it's always. I love. Like I said, I watch you even when I'm not. You know, when we're not. We love when it's out of season. It's. You know, you help explain to other people
Yeah.
things that are not always easy to explain. Or people don't always have access to that and that information and to your all's point of view. So I love it. I love watching the show and I share it, whether we're on it or not. So
we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Well,
Thank
I guess we have to say goodbye until next season. And we will see you then. Give our best to Abe and tell him
I
that
will. I will.
precious
And
little boy
I'll keep
always in our
you
prayers.
all posted about you know, further
Yeah.
upcoming stuff.
Please do.
We want to follow that trail too.
Yeah, we do. We do. All
I
right.
was joking with Corey. I said, listen, I said, they should get a TV camera down here. I was like, you
Yes.
can do a whole TV show just
They
about.
missed,
I
they
bet.
missed an opportunity to follow
Yeah.
it around. So, you know, they really missed an opportunity. But you've got a lot of it on video. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
perhaps they can take that and do something with it. But anyway, we're gonna have to say goodnight. And with that, we will see you next time on Relative Race and on Relative Race on GenFriends.
GenFriends.
We will see you
But
next
I
time.
will say this,
GenFriends.
congratulations on the win. If we didn't
Absolutely.
say anything,
Yeah,
kudos for
exactly.
you guys for winning.
Yeah, it was wonderful. That was wonderful. And beating that curse, you know, for blue team. So
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
and I think it's fabulous that your Bermuda shirt happens to be blue. But anyway,
Well, there's no coincidence at all with that.
done.
I have a
Anyway,
hoodie too.
you have a hoodie too. Good. We will see you next time on GenFriends. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
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 Bye.